Hello friends, I'm Abby and today I'm setting up my March bullet journal, and this month I decided to go with a plant theme. And I did get lots of inspiration from different people on Pinterest and Instagram, so I will link those down below for all of my inspiration pictures. And I also printed out quite a few pictures for this month, including this one I'm gluing in for my cover page, because I love the look of this, but I'm not a watercolor painter. So I decided, you know what, I'll just print the plant pictures that I love and put those on there. I'm also using some of this craft paper in my spreads throughout the month because I just love the aesthetic of adding craft paper into my bullet journal, especially with this kind of neutral greens and browns theme. I decided to go with plants this month because in the month of March, I love doing green themes. It makes me think of spring, and I just wanted to think about all of the plants coming back and the snow melting here in the US so that we can have a beautiful spring. And the quote I chose for my quote page says, "Let's root for each other and watch each other grow," which I just thought was super inspirational for this month. And the washi tape I'm using, I just got from Michaels, and it's this really cute, succulent washi tape. My cover page was heavily inspired by a picture I saw on Pinterest, and of course that's linked down below, but I just loved this look of hanging plants. I thought that it added a little extra something rather than putting the plants on a shelf. I loved the look of them hanging from the ceiling. These plants are also super easy to draw. As you can probably tell, it's a lot of just making simple lines or simple circles. So this would be a super easy theme to recreate. I used 4 different shades of green throughout my setups this month, and I absolutely love the way that these greens play together. I felt like having one bright green, one light green, one super light, and one kind of darker grayish green just added the perfect contrast for me as I set the spreads up. I also thought this brown was perfect. It kind of dries in a very reddish brown terracotta color, which was perfect for these plant holders. I decided to go with the same calendar setup that I used last month, where instead of making a whole bunch of boxes, I just did the lines across. And I feel like this just was much simpler to set up. It's quicker for me to set up, and especially this time of year, I need quick setups that are simple so that I can get them done and get started on my month. For decoration, as I set up this calendar spread, I just have little shelves on the left-hand side at each week mark where I drew a different type of plant or a different collection of plants, and I just love how simple and aesthetically pleasing this page turned out to be. I wanted something very easy on the eyes this month and easy to doodle, so this was the perfect setup for this month. I'm using my white Jelly Roll gel pen to space out the days of the week, which I messed up in my number of spaces in between, so all I did for a quick fix was color back over it with the black marker. And then I have this little plant washi tape that came with the succulent washi tape, and I used that with the succulents on this spread. And that is my calendar setup. So next I'm going to set up my brain dump, and I decided to do one of my favorite things that I add into my bullet journal, which is just ripping corner pieces off of this craft paper or some type of paper and putting it into the corners. I just think this adds a scrapbooky element, and it adds a little more dimension to my bullet journal when I want something a little out of the ordinary. And then I'm doodling 2 plants into my brain dump spread, and both of these plants I actually have in my house. So the one at the bottom is a fiddly fig, and mine actually looks very much like the one that I drew, which I absolutely loved. And then I have some devil's ivy, which I have on a shelf in my house. I don't have it hanging from the ceiling, but it looks just like what I drew in here. So I loved adding my own little plant babies into this spread, because now when I come to this spread, I'll think about them. And now we're moving on to my mood tracker. If you watched my last month's setup, you saw that I did this similar kind of setup for a mood tracker with coffee cups. And I've really been loving using that this month, so I decided to do the same thing with plants. So I set up 31 little pots, and in each pot I will doodle a plant. And as I go throughout the month, I will fill in the plant with a shade of green depending on how I felt that day. So I decided to go with a variety of plants rather than making them all the same, just because I wanted a little bit of variety in this setup. But they're all very easy to doodle, so hopefully you can find at least one of these plants that would be easy for you to doodle as well. The next step in the setup is to fill in all the pots, because all of the pots will be the same terracotta brown color, and to number the pots so that I know which day I'm filling in my mood for. And then at the top, I'm just drawing my key where I have 4 circles, and each of these circles will be filled in with a shade of green and my little smiley faces that determine which color goes with which mood. And then the right-hand side is my gratitude tracker, which I absolutely love using every month. And all I'm doing is outlining a box that has 31 spaces and drawing some succulents around the edge of the box. Next, I decided to go back to my traditional habit tracker spread where I outline the month of March. I don't fill in the lines or the numbers, I just leave it outlined. And I put a dot in a square that represents the day of the week that I'm on. So I'm very easily able to keep track of what day of the week it is and what day I'm on. But if you're not, you can always number the little boxes or draw the lines and make it a full calendar. But this spread typically works for me. And each of the little month outlines represents a different habit, so I can mark off each habit for each day. And then at the bottom, I'm just adding some more plants, of course. And the right-hand page, I am setting up my expense tracker, where I track how much money I spend each week and how much money I have left in my personal budget. This left-hand column I use to mark off which week of the month we're in, and I like to draw a little doodle in there just to make it a little more exciting, so I'm drawing all of the different plants. Lastly, I'm setting up my weekly spread, and this I've decided to go super simple. I am just making circles, and you'll see in a second the camera cuts out and you don't get to see me doodle these plants in the top left and right hand corner, but I am keeping the weeks just these green circles, and then I doodled these plants and filled them in. Please enjoy this flip through, and I hope you all enjoyed planning along with me or watching my March bullet journal setup. I absolutely love setting up my bullet journal for you guys, and it really is a highlight of my month, so I hope you enjoy it as well. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends.